Tired of dealing with annoying flies, fruit flies, and gnats in your home? The Zevo Flying Insect Trap is your ultimate solution. Don't wait. Check out the link in the video description now to get your Zevo Flying Insect Trap on Amazon and enjoy a bug-free home today.
The Friday Letters page asks how often you replay your favorite video game, as one reader wonders if the Multiversus relaunch has been a flop. To join in with the discussions yourself, email gamecentral@metro.co.uk. Second place shooter. With the release of the new expansion, I decided to go back to Destiny 2 for the first time in more than a year. I used to be a regular player but fell off after a while, not because there was anything wrong with the game but because I didn't want to be playing only that forever. My first impressions were not good, as the game is really weird about welcoming you back, with tons of cutscenes and info dumps and putting you straight into a mission. But after a while I started to get into it and I realized, this still has the best gunplay in any game ever. The satisfaction of shooting your gun and scoring a hit is absolutely second to none, and given how old it is, I'm not sure it's ever going to be beaten. I'm not saying Destiny 2 itself is the best game ever, it still feels weirdly bare bones even after all these years, but in terms of its action it is near perfect. So much so I'm not sure what the second best even is. Halo is up there, but that's just Bungie again. Beyond that, maybe Resident Evil 4 or Doom. Focus. First impressions. I appreciate what the developers are trying to do with having no battle pass for Concord, but I don't think it's going to work. It reminds me of the time Nintendo made that Super Mario game for mobile and they said it won't have any microtransactions, but it will cost £5 or so. Nobody bought it, just because they're used to everything being free and they consider any price a ripoff. Remember, most people spending nothing on live service games. Concord has already been labeled as unoriginal and expensive, and I don't think it's going to be easy to shake that off. Maybe it's not fair, but I'm not sure it's fair that Helldivers 2 completely avoided those criticisms, considering it's not exactly groundbreaking itself. Sometimes a label just sticks, fairly or not, and that's it for most people. Maybe if Concord seemed more unique people would give it a second look, but I think one is all it's going to get. Lodom. Positive influence. After reading about it and the work put in, I will definitely be giving Fallout London a try, as it sounds like it could literally be as good as a new release. Although, I hope it will be a proper British sense of humor, rather than the very dry Bethesda games. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy the Bethesda games, but the scripts have always been pretty bad, and taking out the humor that was in the original 2D games is such a bad decision. At times Bethesda Fallout does try to be funny, but it never works, and I think they realize that, which is why they barely try most of the time. The TV show was funny though, with proper screenwriters, and I'd like to see that become a key part of the franchise from now on. The show is good, and while it's not really that much like the games, despite the surface similarities, I think it could end up having a very positive influence on the series, as could Fallout London. Lumpton. Email your comments to gamecentral@metro.co.uk. Seeing for yourself. I realize I'm late to the party here, but I picked up Suicide Squad for next to nothing in the recent Amazon sale, just because I was curious what all the fuss was about, since I still didn't understand what kind of game it was exactly. After playing it for a few days, I'm still not sure I understand it. Why was this a DC Comics game? Everyone is using guns and the city is this weirdly designed BioShock-style place that doesn't look real but also doesn't look particularly comic book. Harley and the sniper guy have virtually no personality, and the other two are very note. There's virtually nothing appealing about the game, other than the action is okay. It's an alright third-person shooter, but what has that got to do with being a superhero-type game? It's very weird, and it being a flop is the least unsurprising thing ever now I've played it. Gorf. No change. I think the problem with hero shooters, and you can see this in Concord and Marvel Rivals, is that all the effort is going into creating the characters and nothing in terms of making the games unique. Obviously, the characters are a big part of the appeal, but they've all got to work within the same framework. It's not as if any of the characters add